Real quickly before we get into the video, I just wanted to acknowledge that I did not upload last week and I did not upload 3 weeks ago. So I got a new job and major life changes have taken place basically, and this has just fallen by the wayside. I've also been struggling with that sort of directionlessness I've been feeling since I uploaded that one video a couple weeks ago, 4 now, or 2 now, whatever. So all that being said, I'm getting back on the horse, I'm continuing, and I've got a new sort of zeal for this channel. So I've been praying about it a lot, and I definitely at least want to continue through the year and hopefully beyond that. We'll see what happens. So on into the video. In response to the last video about aimlessness, it keeps coming back to this channel at its best being a personal video journal, a vlog, I guess, you know? So insofar as I hadn't felt direction, I keep coming back to this basic foundation. I want this to be that vlog. I want to continue with that motto and just talk about the journey I'm on and everything. I think that's the most interesting thing I have. I also want to somehow figure out eventually how to talk about the stories I've been writing. My hang up there is like spoilers or whatever. Finally, I want to talk about theology of the body because I am reading through all of that right now, and it's something I really care about. This has also been a journey of productivity, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. I have struggled with a sort of disordered relationship with productivity for years because of my old life. I was in music and I wanted music to be the thing, so I sort of focused all of my energy, which would have been on a leisurely enjoyment of music, into this hyper focused need to do music in a way that the world or the market or whatever would most react to, right? So I suppressed myself. And so with that in mind, I wrote a journal entry last week just talking about and realizing this disordered relationship with productivity that I have, and I'd say the larger culture has as well. So here's what I said. And this is more related to drawing, which I've wanted to sort of try to get back into as a leisurely activity, but I'm finding it hard to do that. I worked on some pixel art recently. I picked up a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain just to kind of get back into drawing, but I don't do it. And so I'm just meditating on that with this entry. So it says, one thing I've noticed in myself lately is this feeling that drawing is a waste of time. I enjoyed making that pixel art the other day, but I felt as though I was not doing what I need to be doing the next time I sat down to do it. I also think that this attitude extends into other parts of my life, listening to music, writing, story, sitting silent in the car, or anywhere for that matter, reading even. It's funny because while I feel that way about these activities, I don't have the same emotion toward doom scrolling or streaming, or being on screens in general, really. I think that this feeling may have to do with the fact that I pushed myself so hard for a really long time to do certain productive things like music, even self-imposed learning, and so on. If I'm not pushing myself or totally crashing out, then I'm being a bad steward of this time allotted to me, right? This American lie of hustle culture, etc., is actively harming me, or those lies that I ingested at one time I'm still struggling through. I feel like within this subject, there may lie the answer to that screen time crash out culture within my own life. This is something I did just last night. I came home from my job with food in hand, right? And it was like close to 10 because I worked until 9:30 p.m. and I was like, I don't want to do anything except lie on the floor of my room and watch YouTube videos, just turn my brain off, veg out, you know, restless leisure as opposed to restful leisure. And yeah, I should not have done that. And I felt all the worse for it, obviously, but I just continued to do it. So back to the journal entry. This does lead to a positive that I've seen in this morning. And this is the journal entry here. I think that working to change my relationship with screens has caused me to enjoy reading more. This morning, when I was reading, I have this book on the Mass, and what felt almost boring even 2 days ago gave me the feeling that I couldn't put it down. I really want books to be like that for me again. I want to continue down this road, Lord willing. So, yeah, all of this to say that the screen attachment, I think, is the big thing for me. The expectation that I can just turn my brain off at the end of the day or whatever, or not even, like, get up in the morning and get on a social media or something, is really harming me. So some of the thoughts I have about this are restful versus restless activities, and this is something I heard from another creator online recently. I don't remember who or where. It was a Catholic person, I think. But the idea of restless activities or restless leisure is just like doom scrolling, you know, a dissatisfied, always trying to find the next thing kind of feeling. And more importantly than that for me is just turning off parts of my brain and letting the content soak into me rather than staying active enough or engaging enough with what I'm doing to make it a more meaningful experience, such as I would have to do when I read or when I sit down and listen to an album, that kind of thing. Screen addiction is something I've struggled with. There's been this sort of tug and pull in my life for as long as I can remember, since I got my first phone, and before that probably, of like playing with moderation. Is it okay to have social media sometimes, or do I need to totally remove everything? I have a friend who got a flip phone and totally removed everything, and I don't want to do that, you know. I have friends on Instagram, for example, and I want to keep up with them, but finding that magical medium of moderation is not easy and is something I'm struggling with. And really, it's not even social media that's the big thing for me right now. It's just YouTube dooming or whatever, like I said, in the evenings. There's also the problem of activity burnout right now. I'm writing a movie, as I said. I want to be journaling regularly. I've just started writing letters to people. I want to do drawing. There's just this whole like litany of things I want to do, and I'm constantly faced with having to decide which one am I going to do right now. You know, there's also reading, and within reading, there's picking up a comic book or picking up a devotional book or picking up the textbook on theology of the body. What am I going to read? So I am struggling through that right now. So I find myself climbing toward a better median and then backsliding constantly. That's something I want to continue to work on and to find the happy medium. I've tried all sorts of things, only getting on screens afternoon, only doing this sort of activity on these days, don't only focus on writing right now and nothing else and stuff like that, and nothing is really stuck. Right now I'm trying a system of input days and output days. So an input day would be I focus on reading. I can even watch an episode of something because I'm trying to learn film. Output days would be like writing and so on and so forth. Maybe even working out. That's probably something I need to get back into. Drawing would be an output day activity as well. So the reason I think that drawing feels like more of a waste of time than doom scrolling is because of that past life. Drawing was outside of the purview of what I felt like was my mission in music, right? So if I wasn't forcing myself to do music, then I was being lazy. So this is just something I'm trying to heal from, and I think I need to just sit down and draw and fight the ideas that come up of like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is wasting time. This is slow and boring, you know, that kind of thing. Because I don't find it boring after like the first 5 minutes. So that's just another like issue. As I discussed in my old life recording, social media presence, songwriting, all that stuff. It ends up being so toxic, and it's just a recipe for burnout. Music culture, independent music culture, is so unhealthy in my experience. Drawing, resting were off course for me in that idea. So I never did, I never did them. I was like, screw that. I need to go write the next song, and so on and so forth. So anyway, all that to say, my conclusion for this mess is to try to learn to be useless, do something about my night routine, fight the jonesing feeling I get, especially like when I get off work in the evenings, to come home and just turn on the TV. This problem, I know, is something that a lot of people struggle with. It's something that I've talked with ad nauseum with my friends about, right? And like I said, some friends decide to get a flip phone, and some friends choose not to get a flip phone. That's one of me. And find other methods of learning to live with technology, right? I will say technology is insidious, or AI-based algorithms are insidious and fight for your attention at all times. So you need to be on your guard in that sense. So anyway, these are just some thoughts I've been having. I'd love to hear your thoughts, how you deal with this sort of thing. And obviously the end goal is deeper union with Christ, more healing interiorly. Yeah, that's the video. Please like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't like it, then let me know, I suppose, and I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.